a new aquarium that you're going to buy, like whatever we were talking about. Let's imagine in our head a 3D object that's going to first relate. Do you guys want to do the cylinder first or the cube first?
Cube.
Raise hands for cube. Raise hands for cylinder. All right. So now when we get to cube, my friend actually had a fish tank that was a cube. It was like literally a perfect cube, and the top of it, you could actually look down into it. Like, not that it was open, it came around the edges, and it was super cool. And then he ended up selling it because he could not, like, it was too small, essentially. So if we have a cylinder, and, well, okay, so you guys know I love food. And what you may not know is that almost as much as I love ice cream, or as much as I love pizza, love ice cream. Gotta resist it because, you know, ice cream's not necessarily good for us. But, so if you go to the ice cream shop, most ice cream places, I want to ignore that. Most ice cream places will offer you a cup or a cone. Now, my question to you is, if they're the same size, obviously they're not the same size, right? Do we get what we mean by like size versus size? So if they are the same size, right, you can't see that they're the same circle, they're the same size, we know it's not the same amount of ice cream, right? This fits inside of here, we can see it. So I want you to turn to a partner, and what do you think? So if you're arguing, well, the cup gives you more ice cream. So we're going to start to talk about prices that we might charge for the cup versus the cone. Turn to your neighbor and discuss, how do you think the cup compares to the cone? While I sit over here hungry for ice cream. Colin, you're doing the middle school thing. Talk about the math, please. Meniscus. I love that word. Meniscus is where you can see the water like above the edge of the Anyone still need 1013? You didn't pick this up yet? Just straight up mathematically, so ignore the fact that, okay, you get a cone to eat. Ignore that, we're talking about ice cream versus ice cream. Like, how many cones would it take to fill that cup? So essentially, like, how ripped off are you getting?
Yes, the game of life.
Nope, this ice cream shop, it's a flat top. I know, right? This is why they stack ice cream on top of it. So, Brenda, you're lucky that your card's up because you're literally leaping out of your chair to answer. What did you guys talk about?
We talked about usually if you ask for 2 scoops, in the cup they'll give you 2 scoops, but in the cone they'll most likely give you a scoop to fill up the cone and then give you 2 other scoops on top, so you have 2 scoops, which is actually 3 scoops because they fill up the cone.
Yeah, so the problem is this ice cream shop is weird, and they're called flat top ice cream.
No.
I know they do. If I was there, I'd be mad at them. I'd probably walk out. So their cup will be flat top. Their cone would be flat top.
No.
You get, because they're very mathematical. Because this started happening, their employees, their friends were coming in. They were saying, "Oh, give me a small cone," and they were stacking like 5 as many stacks of ice cream as. And the owner's like, "Bro, you're giving away our profits. We're gonna make everything equal." So now they're flat topping all their cones, all their cups, flat top. You want to say anything else? Or you want to move on to the next card?
You're about to spill the water.
Aside from that, we're a bad ice cream shop. Patrick, what'd you guys talk about?
First we talked about how the cone you can eat too, but then you told us we can't. And then we talked about how there's extra stacked on top, but then you said we also can't. So we really didn't get anything.
So you are arguing the how else can we look at the problem as opposed to comparing the volume.
Yeah.
Colin, what did you guys talk about?
Well, we did talk about making the cup out of the waffle cone and
Okay.
cones. That way you get best of both worlds.
So that'd be a
and you get
surface area.
And also, I thought of as well for pricing. So if you had the cone and the cylinder, the cone and the cup. So basically, if you had those two, the cup would be a base price of an extra 75 cents, then the cone, and
Well,
then
what's the cone's price?
the cone's price is 50 cents,
Okay.
and then.
So you think the cup is like one
And
and a half the cone?
And then for the cup though, per every scoop, it's 10 cents.
Let's remember, we're not scooping up. We're just flat top. We're gonna fill it perfectly full.
I know that's what
Even if, let's say it's soft serve then. Soft serve, they're slicing off the top, or frozen yogurt, whatever.
That's just
They're wrong.
Please don't yell at me. This may or may not get messy. Can I try something?
No, because this is my messy to have.
Okay, so put the cylinder in the top so that thing is so that it doesn't get messy on there.
Not my first rodeo.
Okay, and now stick the cylinder stick the cone in the cylinder. I want to do it myself.
Put the lime in the coconut. I'm real scared. Oh, you mean press it down. Okay, so.
Because you know how much ice cream we'd be using. I squirted.
Now measure the stuff in there.
So if I do exactly what Lily said, and if I get real adventurous, I might be able to flip this over without squirting my down. So before I pull this, before I pull the cone out, I want you to make a prediction of how much water was just displaced. So all right, hands up if you think I displaced half the water. Hands up if you think it's a different answer than half. You just want to go against the grain.
Yes.
So, hold
Go
on.
test your luck. Go test your luck.
That doesn't look like a half to me.
Wait.
So wait,
That's what I was thinking.
if you're not helping because I'm waiting for quiet. If it displaced a half, the water left in here would equal the water that I could put in here, right? Or ice cream, if we're gonna say. So, am I gonna run out of water?
Not if you drink.
No, I don't think so.
No,
So this is
it's three.
full.
It's three equally. Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Oh my god.
It's
It is perfect. Now hold up, let's reverse this
I
process.
knew that it was learned.
Hold up.
this ice cream shop is a scam.
I knew that it was learned.
Hold up.
That was so.
Alright, so cylinder. Empty cylinder. Right? Empty
Yes.
cone.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, one cone.
I guess a
Definitely doesn't look like half.
new unit of measurement.
Two cones.
And then
Slosh a
necessarily
little.
add one cone of flour.
Wait, what?
And one
Three
And one-
cones.
and one fourth and one table cone of
Look at that.
Yo!
What
We
the-
duplicated
No!
water. Duplication.
This ice
So-
cream shop is a scam.
So,
both hurting and
what I will give you on your notes tomorrow, because it wasn't, it's, next year I'm going to change how I give out notes. We're going to have all these math notes in a separate packet. I need to get better than I am. I'm trying. Sorry, guys.
You're amazing.
Well, thanks, but I'm progressing. I get it. Like, I'm still progressing at teaching. Sorry, this isn't back yet from the copy center. But the formula is if you can relate it to its related cylinder.
what?
If you can relate a cone to its related cylinder, which means same size base, right? Same size circle, it is 1/3. The cone is 1/3 of the cylinder. Max?
Okay, you're forgetting one thing though. Capitalism. They're not gonna let that happen.
price compared to cylinder price or
I'll
cup,
call the FBI.
this should apparently be 3 times as expensive.
Wait.
But it's
That's-
not.
It's
That's
that
it.
expensive.
But that's
When
why
I
I
branded it, I will
Max,
call the
thank you for
FBI.
raising your hand.
Okay. So, since you can eat a cone, and since you
Yes,
can't
there's some
eat,
other extraneous information to take in.
since you can't eat a cup,
Actually,
really
you can't.
weird.
Turtles can eat cups. They don't like it, but they do it.
Then, can you guys stop interrupting me?
Okay.
And since everything eco-friendly in the world costs more, then the cone would cost more.
Right, the edible
And money's
container.
paper.
Yeah, so you guys are getting hung up on the actual ice cream situation. Does it make sense that with a cone, it is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder? Anna.
Wait, but you said that technically the cup should be 3 times as much. However, this
The
is
cylinder is 3 times as much as
Sorry,
the
that's
cone.
what
Yes,
I
you're
meant
fine.
to
It's,
say.
we were calling it cup. It's fine.
Okay, so but the thing is, the world doesn't do it the flat cup way. So like the
Yes,
cup.
I know. So stop.
If
Get
they
your
did-
brain off of ice cream. Let go of ice cream.
No,
I've
ice
seen
cream.
that-
So-
I've never seen a cup
Ice cream
that
cup.
big.
Not flat top ice.
Maddie.
I was confused because I would think it would be like the triangle
So-
square.
Mr. Hudson got very frustrated at his students and he closed down that ice cream shop. He has since opened up an Italian ice shop where there's no cones, no waste. I literally hand you a block of Italian ice and say good luck. Because my students made me so upset about paper and cones versus what can I eat. So, Mr. Hudson,
Did you give out
because
forks?
he decided he was tired of the peanut gallery, now the Italian ice comes in either a prism
Or square.
or a pyramid. So this pyramid or this prism is technically a cube because it is equally height, or its height is equal to its base dimensions. So remember, base, we're always saying base is the shape we start with. In a cylinder, we talked about base being a circle because cylinders copy the base on both ends. For a pyramid or a prism, how you find the base is going opposite the apex. The point where your lateral faces meet is the apex, or the point where your whole, this is actually one giant awkward triangle. If I cut this and unfold it, like, I mean, you guys have seen how ice cream cones get made. There was a video on Reddit where we made an ice cream cone out of bacon, and now I really want to make a bacon cone. It's not an ice cream cone. Then you put
Then
nacho
we make
dip
it
inside of
dumplings
it.
like
Can
we
you
have
do
bacon
some
ice
more?
cream.
So if you weren't hungry before, now imagine a bacon cone with nacho dip inside of it.
Stop!
You're making
So-
me wish I
Show
got
the
extra
triangle
lunch.
thing. That
I'm
literally
giving
proves your point. The
What
orange one.
What
The one that is
Oh!
supposed to
Yeah, this. So depending on how tall your cone is, well, this is a triangle, even though it doesn't look like it. It looks like a semicircle right now. It's a triangle, but with a rounded base. So it's not straight up a triangle. It's a triangle with a rounded base part. So we'll get there. It's not technically called a triangle. I forget what it's technically called. But if I take the cone apart, like my ice cream cone or my bacon cone, whatever, it lays out to a bunch of little triangles that we'll dig more into another day. I'm trying to cover a lot of teaching in one day. So
This is so weird.
turn to your neighbors and discuss, do you think this relationship is the same as the cylinder and the cone? Well, yeah, but actually that's my favorite part of the McDonald's ice cream cone, is that bottom part that's all like, the ice cream gets, we have to kind of push it down sometimes and make it on or something to get it shoved all the way in. So you're right, like there are other things. You have 30 seconds because you're still all just discussing ice cream.
I just heard
Alright, well, if I wasn't so busy and had popcorn. You complainers. If you want to relate it to something that would probably have a flat top,
No, it's
man, my friends might be onto something by wondering why the heck I teach middle school.
Plus, there's a superior one because the
My
cone,
brain
the
is
butter just goes
My
to the
brain is
bottom
so
of the
busy
dip.
right now.
Absolutely.
I am both in awe at you, but also very angry at you because you made my brain hurt with this very awesome
And
math
hungry.
demonstration.
So,
Please.
who thinks it's also 1/3? Who thinks something different happens because it doesn't go to a point, it goes straight up?
Well, it's also not exact. I want exact.
Is that exact enough for you, Jade?
I think we need a little more.
What? Oh my god, Anna's so upset right now. I got water on the floor.
Mr. Hudson, I think you need to clean the floor.
Your table is leaking.
Mr. Hudson, you need to clean the floor.
It will Anna, we're not wasting paper on this. It will dry. It will dry.
That's how
Trust me.
mold happens.
Sit down.
That's how mold
Sit
happens.
down. I have a fan right here.
how
You're
mold
wasting
happens.
the trees. Listen.
What your question, my favorite.
Alright, so should we take the Lily method of displacing first? Now that we're safely in the tub. I knew you'd get upset by
Can
that.
I do it?
And I could have put it in the tub, but come on, sometimes making a mess is fun.
Can I do it?
Alright, so wait, how many people think it's a 1/3 relationship still? How many people think something different happens? Maddie said she wanted to say something.
I know why.
What do you know why?
I know why.
You know why what?
It's my answer. I know.
Are you saying it's still 1/3 or it's not 1?
I'm saying it's still 1/3.
Okay, why?
Wait.
Okay. So it's like a triangle. I feel like it would be 1/2 if this wasn't. If only one side was curved in. Like if this side was straight.
Oh, so you mean like this?
Yes.
So wait, so Maddie wants us to try whatever. I don't know if I would put popcorn in this or not. But alright, so Maddie says that was not a good pour.
No, it's not.
Alright.
Oh.
I don't know if that's half or not. Now what would have to be the same? I think this square is the same.
Mr. Hudson made a
I
house.
think it doesn't have the equal height. Like, so if we're gonna have to reset. If I compare
Not a right
the square to the prism,
It's a house.
calm down.
in the middle of a house.
So notice it's not quite the prism that matches the. So what Maddie's saying might be true, but I don't think I have the model in here to make that happen. So Maddie's arguing if it was just a shape like this, right, a triangular prism that we took from here, that it would be half, but you think it is a third. So here.
Also, can I say what was that?
It's like
Not knowing where to go.
guys, it's like bath time with Mr. Hudson.
Oh my god.
Now you're making it weird.
Where's the rubber ducky?
I better have a battleship and a rubber ducky.
Exactly.
You
Rubber
guys don't have a
ducky.
battleship to play with in the bathtub?
Yeah.
Alright,
I
so.
thought maybe we'll all start swimming down in the bathtub and pretend they were a scuba diver.
Alright, so displaced.
Turn it upside down again.
Anna called you old, by the way.
Truth only hurts if you care.
Watch your mouth.
What's I
Oh,
said?
water on the
What's
floor.
I said?
Bully him, Anna.
I don't think it's gonna work. Alright, so there's a tiny bit of water missing. There's a tiny bit of. It's okay. I am getting cold. Alright, so we pull this out. Yeah, I do not think it's a half. Now the only other temptation is it a 3/4 or a 1/4 like relationship?
Well, 'cause you
So
missed some.
this is one pyramid out.
You also missed some.
I don't know why, but I feel like that's wine and I want to
Two
drink out of it.
pyramids out. Oh my god! It's because I can't hold this flat. There is some water missing from in this pyramid if I forget. So it holds true. It is also 1/3
Well,
the dimension.
You kinda, it kinda
I want to
mean, I'm not gonna not post it. Alright, so hold on. So, triangles, all that. Get out of here.
doing my man like that.
Why you gotta do them like that?
Because I need space. Alright, hold on.
I'll take it if you're gonna treat it properly.
Yeah.
He's using shit.
Hexagon.
Yeah.
Prism, Brenda.
Brenda's a little doggo.
Alright.
Dog.
Hey, can we do this like fun type lab type sort of thing, or do I just have to like straight teach you?
No.
Because now you're pushing it too far and we're gonna run out of time. So we saw that the same thing happens between cylinder and cone as does prism, cube, and pyramid. Will this hold true for any three-dimensional prism compared to its three-dimensional pyramid? This is the question. Chat with your neighbors or whoever. Do you think this will always hold true?
He probably won't. He probably has it true.
Yes.
What?
He has it true.
You think I'm up to something, don't you?
Yeah. You always are.
Guys, bath time is for
Never do that
Hey, what the heck is going on in my purple?
Mr. Hudson, I can see that.
Today's gonna be the day my parents have been waiting for. They're gonna ask me what I did at school today, and I'm actually gonna have something interesting to tell them.
We had bath time with
No,
Mr.
Mr. Estes' class is the one you guys talk about. Alright,
Oh, he's
should
a
we displace first? Should we displace first? That makes my pour easier. Alright, so displace.
Oh, that's so
So that's one pyramid of displacement.
Flip it. Flip it.
The circle works because the circle. So actually, if we talk about the scientific reason why the cylinder worked and this probably won't, it's the same reason manholes are circular. Because a circle of the same size as another circle cannot fit inside of it. Hey, stop! You might actually need. It might win you a game show someday. So literally, the reason that manholes are circular is even when you pick up the circle can't fall into the other circle. Any polygon, if I pick up the other shape, I can fit. If I turn sideways, I can fit into it. That's why flipping this over doesn't work, because it doesn't push out. Like the circle uniformly pushes out the other circle because it cannot fit. That's why that worked to flip over. There's scientific principles behind it. That's also why manholes are a circle, people holes. Like literally, because if you roll the lid and like you accidentally don't put it back on right, think about a manhole lid falling down the manhole. That would suck because they're heavy. That's why they made them circular. Yeah.
I'm saying what every single person in this room is thinking right now.
What?
Nerd.
No one cares about manholes.
No, everybody's just watching this, spamming the like.
So
Yeah, I feel really like
one displaced pyramid. It's still isn't it? It doesn't look like 1/3.
It doesn't look like 1/3 because it's 2/3, Mr. Hudson.
Well, okay. I mean 1/3 missing, but all right. Pretty darn full.
Oh!
And
You slash them out. What the heck?
pretty darn full.
Oh my god.
So this.
Oh my god!
Now,
Oh my
there's
god!
actually hold up. There's actually a mathematical principle that goes back to it doesn't actually matter if the center of the pyramid is perfectly at the top. What matters is that the bases are the same shape. So big B, right? Our big B's are the same, and the heights are the same. Beyond that, this is called Cavalieri's principle because I forget his first name. It was something complicated. But imagine if I had a stack of something three-dimensional like quarters. And if I shift the stack sideways, does it change the volume? No. So if I have a pyramid and I pull the top of it sideways, but I keep everything else the same, the volume will stay the same. That's Cavalieri's principle. Max.
So you're doing these fun things with other shapes, which are lots of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Waiting for the insult.
Did you tell us the answer after the circle of something with the base and will always be 1/3 as if
Well, for the cylinder versus the cone, but I don't know. We
You
had
could
to.
have just showed us the square. You didn't have to show the
Yeah, but wasn't it fun to do it a couple more times?
Right.
Nolan.
That is true.
Just saying, why is it that every significant person who's had a very significant effect on math has a really weird name?
Yeah, well, because they're all from like the 1500s, and like names are more. Because we all got dumber. Like probably, quite frankly, like we started just using really simple names, and if you call your child Cavalieri, like that's. But actually, I think that's his last name. Which of these is the better deal? Which of these is the better? Now wait. Well, I should probably go back to cards. Spencer. Spencer. Which of these is the better deal? Assuming they have the same base and the same height, which they tell us they do. Which of these is the better deal and why? So you're saying to go from here to here, if they have the same big B and the same height, which remember, the height, which we talked about yesterday, is the altitude. It is the like straight down, drop the height. So it's from here straight to the base, not down the slanted edge. Please don't use the slanted edge. That is not the height. It's your slant height. I don't even like calling it the slant height. It's the slant. Spencer, sorry, keep going. Better deal. Why? Because now you flip-flopped your answer, but I'll let you defend it. The volume of this is 3 times the volume of that. But did the price triple? Did it more than triple or less than triple? Less than triple. But if we're going to go like, okay, let's talk about the eco-friendliness of it. If both of these are missing the top, right? Both of these are missing one of the bases. How could we compare their surface area?
You can't. Possible.
So,
If it's 1/3, then it'd be a scale.
Brenda, thank you for raising your hand.
We're talking about popcorn now. You changed it from ice cream, so the cone thing is not edible.
Who would put popcorn in a cone?
I would.
Plus, I mean,
All right,
like,
here's your challenge where you're actually going to need to do some math.
No.
How could we determine this slant height? And it's given to you here. It's given to you. But if we didn't know it, turn to a neighbor and discuss how could we figure it out if we just knew the other dimensions.
It literally says on the left, rolling. Ice cream is a scale.
Walter. Oh, me. Well, I mean, you can always skip, but what do you think? How could we, if we didn't know what this was, how could we figure it out? Hey, Gus. You're being a jerk. Like, and your classmates are recognizing it, and I think the only person not recognizing it is you, and as Walter, like, gives you the side eye of, like, bro, he called on me. You're just being a jerk, and no one's amused by it. Quit answering for other people. It's not cool. Are we clear, or are we going to have this issue again tomorrow like happens daily? Clear? For sure. So if your name is not the name called, you're not going to answer. because I think everyone's tired of it. Walter, what'd you discuss with whoever you talked with or yourself? Nice. What'd you guys say? What do you mean? Why can I use the Pythagorean theorem? What does the Pythagorean theorem relate to? What type of triangles? Because the altitude always creates a right angle. That is why it is the altitude. It is perpendicular to the base. We can establish a right triangle. So now here's your challenge. That I don't know if you guys are going to be able to solve this in the time we have left. I will be impressed if you can. If I give you that the altitude, which we often just call the height, but the altitude is the official name for it. This height, like straight from the apex down to the base, is 15. And the base area is 128. Hold up. Find the volume, but then also find the surface area. And I don't mean this as an insult. I mean this probably as a cut against me. I don't know if we've learned enough yet to figure this out. Go for it. I got to check the schedule and figure out how long you're in here.
Normal time this time.
Oh, yeah, we're back to schedule now. Can you not play? You want out of the game? I don't like this game anymore. I went off this ride.
I don't want to lose the money I already made on Jeopardy.
Nope. Hey, Jake, is this what you're supposed to be doing right now? Hey, so give me your attention for like 30 more seconds. Your class doesn't need to hear this as much as my other classes because most of you are pretty bold when it comes to math, which I think is a good thing. Some of you are getting in this bad habit as stuff gets difficult at the end of the year of avoiding. And like there are a couple of you right now that have essentially been avoiding this entire lesson, and we'll deal with that later. But like when things get difficult, like you either talk about, well, how much of the cone can I eat instead of like the math, or you just completely disengage from the problem. That's an issue if you're going to continue to be successful in math. So stop avoiding the hard stuff. You have 7 minutes to try and do this. If you need to pull out a Chromebook and like Google something, you can if you want. As people complaining about, well, we haven't learned. Okay, well then look it up. If you haven't learned it, look it up. Quit hiding from the hard stuff. I don't either. It's okay.
You're not Shinzo. Stop it.
Y'all are just saying, I'm like, why can't I agree?
Because that means it's not productivity. And that makes me feel bad.
you realize how dry the air in the school is? My hands are like cracked open because how dry the air in the school is. That'll evaporate in like an hour.
Mr. Hudson, Anna is already planning a way to kill you.
No, I highly doubt that. We should not talk about that. That's not very nice.
Stop trying to hide your terror and planning. It was like, no, you were like this.
Anna.
Funny. You laughed at me. I did.
Me? Or
How dare you?
No, when he threw all these shapes on the ground,
Wait, can we bully Gus yet?
no, we can't bully anyone, friends.
He insulted Anna.
Anna's face.
But that's not the area of the base.
It was like,
That's the area of the entire shape, right?
oh my gosh. I just realized something. What happens if you
How many degrees is it? Outside, hopefully like in the 60s by now. How many degrees is it if I face you
73 degrees.
and turn and face you again?
360.
So if I do this,
That's 360.
that's 360 you're saying?
Yeah. Divided by 6.
So if I do this, what is that?
That's 360 divided by 6.
Okay.
60.
So if we say
I found the answer.
A is 60 degrees.
And D and
Isn't it?
Wait, I found the
Radius
answer.
20.
Wait, is it just like 6 times the area of the box?
Yeah, that's 6 and then 10.
How many degrees are in a triangle? 180. How many, hang on to it. How many degrees are inside of a square?
4.
360, because each of the corners are 90. Right? So if a triangle has 180, a square has 360, how many degrees do you think are in a pentagon, a 5-sided shape?
420.
Do you think it's more than 360 or less than 360?
More.
I mean, this was for a
Oh, wait,
triangle.
Never mind.
For a square, so for a pentagon is what did this go up by?
And what about by
60 times.
Oh,
You're forgetting to carry the 1.
Yes, 540.
Because I think you're making some arithmetic mistake. If this went up by 180, and if we do that again,
what's arithmetic?
addition and subtraction.
Oh.
540?
Wait, I'm sorry, I'm not old.
I mean, arithmetic is a fancy word for adding and subtracting. So wait, so in a pentagon, 720 maybe?
No.
That'd be a hexagon.
Wouldn't that be, or sorry, I think I said penta but meant hexa. Add 180 again. Okay. So wait, so if, I know I'm gonna run like, I got like 1 minute left. If all of these angles around the outside are 720, what is one, how could I figure out one of those big angles?
4/6.
Okay, what would that be?
92.
720 divided by 6.
No.
180.
120? Is it 120? So if this is 120, I think we'll pick this up tomorrow.
Wait,
And also change this 100 because he taught
Hey,
me.
if you have a solution written down, you may share it with the class when we start tomorrow. If you have a solution written down. No, that's all just water from the sink. You don't want it. I don't trust the pipes that they put in. It's around what? What is around 16? We'll talk tomorrow. Let me see what work you have written down, like either later, tomorrow, whatever.